Hey everyone, and welcome to class. Those of you who are a little bit earlier in for a little treat, I got some of my reptiles out today. So this right here is Moonbeam. Say hi, Moonbeam. Look at those cute guys. So if you can see, Moonbeam is a pretty light pattern. She's very pretty. She's what's known as a snow pattern, and she is a leopard gecko. Leopard geckos, and unlike the other geckos I've shown before, the cresteds, they enjoy more heat environment. Kind of looks like a little snake almost. They enjoy the hot desert. So if I had her tank and show her enclosure, it's going to have heat lamps on it. She eats mostly mealworms and crickets. I would show you her feeding, but we fed her earlier today. And if you can see, she does have a big old tail. That's one of the cool things. It kind of looks like a caterpillar. Some of our other ones have more distinct colors, and it's super soft. So in case you're wondering what it felt like, it feels super soft, like a little caterpillar cocoon. And Moonbeam is very friendly and nice. She's been with us for about 7 months now. I do have a few bigger ones. One is a little bit of a handful, and we'll go over that a different day, maybe in Reptile Club. And then the other one is just a big old cool dude, traditional leopard, but he is currently sleeping. So we brought out Moonbeam, our little baby. Moonbeam does have another baby that we got at the same time, just so you can see the difference. But this is one of the chillest leopards we have. Again, so about the fat tail, kind of moving back to that. You can see that big old tail right there. They store extra food and things in it. So they can actually go a couple of weeks without eating, and the tail will get smaller. So, a sign of an unhealthy leopard gecko is it's going to have a very thin tail. And yes, they can drop their tail and grow it back. I've seen a couple, and it kind of looks like if the leopard gecko drops its tail, which is unlikely because they store so much fat in there and food that they're not likely to drop it. But if they do drop it, they'll grow back. It'll look like kind of like it was smushed or stepped on and flattened. You can kind of tell when a leopard gecko dropped its tail. So let me go grab out our other baby leopard since our big one's sleeping. One moment. Hey everyone, welcome back. I got my other little baby. This is Conchu. He's named after the Egyptian moon god. If you notice, his tail has a little bit different colors. He's a little more traditional yellow and speckled, but he's a little darker than normal. My big one, Chip, is the traditional, but he's got these really cool. Let's see if the lighting will work. He's a little bit dark yellow, got a lot of black, just a lot of cool spots. And his tail, if you can see, has a little bit of that sunset orange right there. I love that coloring. And then again, super soft. You can see how big and bulky. His tummy's big and bulky, and his tail's big and bulky. He just ate. And he's getting big. When we got him, he was just like, whoop, about that big, and now he's whoop. So that's cool. We got him at the same time as Moonbeam. They were a little neglected, and so we've gotten them and fattened them up. Most of the reptiles that I own are either rescues or now babies of rescues, or sometimes we've gotten a couple. This one, Conchu, and our African fat-tailed Mocha, are all just kind of unwanted, sadly. And Mocha, our fat-tailed, it looks a lot like them. It's from a very different region, though. So Chip and Conchu, Moonbeam, all of our leopard geckos, they're going to be from more of a deserty, arid area, whereas the next one I'm going to grab out is from more of a mossy. It's an African fat tail, so it's going to be from a more moist place. So you don't want to have the heat lamp on it. You want to have a lot more moist substrate. Also, one thing with these guys, just because they're from the desert, and I should throw this out in case anyone out there wants one, do not use sand. These guys will eat sand, and it will be bad for them and cause something called impaction. So never use sand, really, with any of your reptiles, just to be safe. But definitely not these guys. If you have any questions, let me know, and I can give you some recommendations. All right, everyone, say hi to Mocha. Mocha is my fat-tailed African leopard or African fat-tailed gecko. You can see it looks a lot like the leopards, same genus. And something I forgot to mention with the leopards is if you can see, unlike the cresties and the New Caledonians, it has eyelids. So these guys can blink. Look at that face. Look at that cute face. Say hi, Mocha. So you can see it has a nice little stripe on its back. And Mocha sadly was one of those geckos that seemed like it was just not wanted. It was a longtime member and of a local pet store, and we saw him there for about a year and eventually got him. I think one of the reasons is I think Mocha dropped its tail, so it is an African fat tail. If you kind of look, it looks a lot like its head and its tail look very similar, which is probably for defensive or hunting purposes. I've actually seen a cricket go and avoid the tail just to run into the mouth, so that's probably a big reason. But I think it dropped its tail at some point in time, which is probably why it was in the pet store for so long, because no one wanted an African fat tail without the big old fat tail. Now, remember I was talking with the leopards, you can kind of tell when they drop their tail, it's a little more smushed. So yeah, that one right there. Usually it's a little longer, it's a little bigger, it's a little healthier looking. It's actually gotten fatter since we've gotten it, so I'm hoping maybe we can fatten both Mocha and Mocha's tail up because it is a cool. I mean, they're called fat tails for a reason because they got that big old fat tail and a fat tail with a weird shriveled up tail just isn't the same. But you know what? This is such a sweet gecko. You cannot have a cuter, more friendly. He would just hang out with me for hours. Look at that face. Look at that face. All right. So now I'm gonna go out and grab a new friend. One moment. All right, and I'm back with Bubba, everyone. This is my chubby frog. His name is Bubba. Sometimes I just call him Chubs because, well, he's a big old boy. He is an insectivore, so he eats lots of insects. I think his favorite is usually crickets. He doesn't love mealworms. I have both. And one cool thing about whoa, he's a hopper. Whoop. And Bubba hopped out of my hand. Yay, live animals. So Bubba is actually really active for a chubby frog. I've actually seen videos and posts where it's like, I haven't seen my chubby frog in years. Bubba is always on top of his dirt. He's usually out and about, standing on stuff, interacting with stuff. And since he is a frog, you'll notice I have him on a leaf instead of my bare hands because he will absorb things through his skin. Yeah, he's trying to get on my hands because, like I said, he's an adventurous chubby frog. They're usually pretty docile. He'll bury himself into dirt, and then he just kind of hides in there, and then something will come by and he'll go bloop and eat it. Kind of like it's really cool to watch. I'd feed. He ate earlier today, otherwise I'd show. But yep, you can see he's trying to move about, and I'm trying to keep him off of my skin because, like I said, he absorbs things through his skin. He's got a really cool pattern too. And he just kind of hangs out. He's awesome. He's the only frog I have. We had some others, but Bubba is the survive is one. I think actually Bubba ate just all the food, so no one else got any food. Look at that chubbies. And one cool thing is their defense mechanism. When you touch them, they just bubble up. I don't know if you can see it very well, but they'll just kind of bloop 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 bloop. Nope. He's like, I'm not afraid of you. I know who you are. You feed me. All right. So he should not be out like crawling about. So I'm gonna go put him back. Super cool. Look at that, Bubba. Super cool. All right. So I went downstairs and I grabbed probably one of my favorite reptiles I own. This is Cheaty. He is my giant North American leaf turtle. And he's got little frills. Now there were a couple of things I needed to do to get him into Idaho, and I have gotten all those things done. So don't just go and order one. Make sure you check out all the requirements. But he's called a leaf turtle because if you can look and see his pattern, he looks like a little leaf. And he's a turtle. I've had Cheaty for about a year now. He was my birthday present last year for my wife. And when I got him, he was about that big. He barely fit in my hand. And now look at him. He's huge. He's grown so much. And he's going to just get bigger. He eats lettuce. He eats bugs. He lives both in the water and on land, which is perfect. He's got a really cool big enclosure that's downstairs that I can show off sometime. But for now, there he is. That's Cheaty, the turtle. Say hi, Cheaty. I mean, he's one of my favorites. He's so cute. With that little face. Alright, say bye, Cheaty. Bye. Alright, this will probably be the last animal I show today. But if you look over my shoulder, you'll see part of the enclosure for this little guy. This is Bowser. And Bowser is a Euromastis. It's spelled very interestingly, so I'm not going to spell it right now, but it starts with a U. Oh, he's a little stressed right now. So Euromastis usually have two temperaments. Some come and they're just very sweet, like puppy dogs, and they'll just go right on you and hang out all day. He's usually chill when he's on me or when he's out for a little bit. But since he's a rescue, he gets a little squirmy. So I've been working a lot on handling him. Now, as you can see, one of the big differences between him and, let's say, um, a bearded dragon is this cool little tail right here. Oh, can I grab your tail? So usually what he'll do is he will thrash it around, and you can see these gnarly looking spikes on it. Yeah, so what he does is he likes to hide in like a cave, like that, and then stick his tail out, and then use it kind of like a defense mechanism, like a club. Oh, yep, there he goes. And so he'll hide like that with his tail out, so if anyone comes by, he'll whack him with it. So he's got lots of little hides and caves, as you can see behind me. And there's this enclosure. And yeah, so he can kind of hide, do lots of little things in there. He loves it. He's got more. That isn't dirt in there. It's more of like this sand clay that I make. I can actually do a video on that in Reptile Club one day. But yeah, so this is Bowser, the Euromastis. He needs it very warm. So, also, fun fact about Bowser before he squirms away. I'm going to put him back because he's stretched out on Bodhi. One last thing. He is a vegetarian. He does not eat any meat. He only eats vegetables. And you don't need to give him water. Says he's used to very hot heat. In fact, he likes it around 110 during the day, 120. So there's lots of heat lamps on him. He's loving this heat wave we had this summer. And he will just get all the water and food he needs from green leaf lettuce and other greens. So collard greens, any kind of green. And that's what we feed him. Look at him. He's so cute. He's chilled out. So he does finally calm down a little bit. He'd hang out on me for like an hour now. He's chill. But when you first get him out, he's squirmy. Okay, that's going to be it for me today. I hope everyone has a great one. And I will see you all next time.